Most worshipful Grand Master, right worshipful brothers, lodge officers, brethren, and guests all, thank you for this opportunity to again speak and share with you. My name is David Sahady, Grand Orator of the Grand Lodge of Arizona. Today, I wish to share the story of a brother, who shall remain nameless, that nearly 3 years ago was diagnosed with an autoimmune and neurological condition. Just to let you know up front, this brother is doing quite well. I wanted to make that clear before I share his journey and how it went pretty dark. Deep, dark days of tribulations, of which he struggled at times to find a desire or ability to get out of. He recalled to me how, as these days progressed, he became less and less present at home, at work, and certainly at lodge. Recently, his worshipful master reflected with him and noted that he must not have been well if he wasn't even attending lodge. Then the pandemic hit, and life changed for everyone. But he began to see a great reason to stay away and disengage further. Then one day a brother called and asked if he'd like to help out at the lodge with a degree. He was scared, both to go out and scared to have an attack. But this brother's amazing wife encouraged him to attend the degree and help if able, both knowing how much the fraternity meant to him and how much he simply really wanted to attend. She encouraged him to go, be with brothers, and find some peace within the lodge. Past commiseration with another worshipful master of his lodge popped in his mind, wherein they would share how upon entering the door to the lodge building, instantly the day's stresses would wash away. He figured perhaps a distraction wouldn't be so bad. After returning home, she asked how it went. With excitement and embarrassment at once, he told her how well it was going delivering the ritual until he had an attack. She listened and gave support, but reminded him to not forget that the brothers were probably happy to see him again and would not judge him simply because maybe he twitched a little funny or needed a little extra help. She was right. And the next day he received a few calls inquiring about his health and then another invite to assist. Well, he began to study and listen again to our ritual. And slowly but surely he came to find focus again, a relief from his own thoughts and distractions from his distresses. The time he spent with our ritual saw his joy and relief increase. He studied more and engaged more and experienced more. Wonderful outcomes for certain, but what's the point of the story? The point, my brothers, is the relief he began to feel, the allowance to have faith again and center himself in his foundation. The point is the lessening of the fog in his mind, emotionally, psychologically, neurologically, and spiritually. As he recited the ritual, significant improvements in his daily life emerged. It became a mantra for him in moments of pain, discomfort, or stress. The point, brothers, is that with the support of family and brothers, he re-engaged with Masonry and experienced relief. Yes, it is good and proper for brothers to help each other. But what about Freemasonry as a provider of relief itself? That is what this story is about. About the relief Freemasonry can provide to someone or a world in need. We have countless stories such as the one I shared, and it is not unique, but it is one of the souls provided relief by Freemasonry. Not only by the support or charitable act toward a brother, but in the relief our fraternization provided. For that relieved brother's interaction in the world was far friendlier and considerate than who he was before. For he wasn't kind, but by reapplying the compasses, finding his plumb line, and employing the gavel, a more aware and friendlier brother emerged. By the tools of Freemasonry, ripples of friendliness were more likely than scowls. By relieving oneself with the employment of Masonic implements, we have a greater opportunity to feel more compassion in and to the world. I understand there are many paths to show compassion. I simply speak of this one shared with me. There are many brothers out there doing great work for the few and for the many, relieving the distresses of others without recognition or desire for their labors to be known. That is Masonry in action. It is relief, the second of our principal tenets. If brotherly love is the inspiration, relief is the action. It is the expression of brotherly love in the world. Masonry is an institution of relief for the world, as, when properly applied, it may act as an agent of change, of warmth, and civility that affects all with whom we interact, most frequently in a positive manner. I share with you thoughts on ripples and their impact on our day. Many may remember youthful moments spent skipping a rock across the surface of a lake, or maybe seeing who could throw the furthest rock out into the water, or even lightly breaking the surface of a fishbowl with our finger. They all had the same reaction. Movement from the center point of entrance, rippling out until it disappeared. What has been your experience, my brothers, when we follow the St. John's around our boundary line, as compared to when our boundary line breaks? It's interesting that, in each experience, the majority of the time the response is the same. You get what you give. But we discuss this in our degrees, that idea of acting towards another as we would have them behave towards us. By relief, we are better enabled to actively share more warmth and comfort in the world. Whether it is brothers gathering to help another brother repair his home when he cannot afford to do so on his own, or helping to move another to a new home in the summer in Arizona, or traveling to another community, state, or country to give aid to those in need, or even those serving on community boards to assist those in need. Freemasonry is in every act. Now, this may seem commonsensical to you, but I ask you to really see Freemasonry in all your daily action. Share the strength of Masonry and labor to beautify the world and relieve the distresses of those around you. And in so doing, share a little more light in this chaos that is life. Masonry, through its aid out of darkness, is an agent of change in the individual, from a laborer to the artisan to the builder, at all points erecting our temple, but becoming more refined. Through the application, which is the action of our Masonic implements, we are the better enabled to offer relief. And perhaps in so doing, we are allowing to ripple out from our center something kinder and more civil in the world. If brotherly love is the beauty of Masonry, then relief is its strength. After all, wouldn't a little relief in the world today be a beautiful creation? It is evident in any casual glance at the past that since the earliest beginnings of society, change has been present. Change has been the great influence on our experience, our interpretation of the world around us, and a force requiring adaptation. Today it occurs with such speed that it is equally difficult to keep up with. This is neither good nor bad, it simply is. But for those who take a closer look, we see that one thing, one interpretation has not changed: the use of symbols to convey a message needed when ailing. This is Masonry. We, in Masonry, are students of moral symbols, seeking to improve our hearts and minds so that we may be better men. This gift of Masonry to each other is intended to improve our lives, not in a temporal sense, but in a spiritual sense, though the temporal relief does result. We utilize symbols to teach stories of moral importance on living healthier lives. But the underpinning of it all is that it's not about improving our own lives, my brothers, but that of improving the world around us. I speak not of lofty, fantastical ideas to change the whole world, but only about changing your own, and, by chance, someone else's. By the teachings of Masonry, we become better tomorrow than we were today. And in our daily labors, we may pause instead of stating an angry word, slow down and let the rage dissipate, or listen when another is distressed. How much of a decrease in distress would there be if we employed our Masonic implements more freely? We learn that by using the tools of Freemasonry and allowing this then to ripple out and lighten someone's day, for then the argument, the accident, or the stress did not occur. Masonry is an organization insomuch as the lodge is a building, neither of which are true. Certainly, we have built an organization around it to guide and establish rules, but Masonry is an experience. It is a movement, and the lodge is our brothers, dispersed around the globe. It is the wave reaching the shore, slowly smoothing out and reworking the edges, chipped away by the tools and implements most dear to the craft. It is the great relief society of the world, not because of action done on a grand scale, but because of the grandness of change it delivers to the individual. I conclude today with a quote, which has been attributed to a few persons, but I find this version by William Blake to be the most fitting close for today. I sought my God, and my God I couldn't find. I sought my soul, and my soul eluded me. I sought to serve my brother in need, and I found all three: my God, my soul, and thee. Thank you so much. Thank you, brethren.